Okay, this is Homer Cocktail 24. Homer Cocktail 24. And I think actually this piece I'm doing, I talked about methodology, but I'm gonna try to keep it under 5 minutes, I think, because I just did a piece that I might call Guilty, and it cites Chaucer, you know, Chaucer. Alright, Canterbury Tales, Chaucer. Watch this line. There's people out here probably. It's high school just let off, and right over here you get a line of cars now. See that? I don't know if you can see it because I'm going to reprocess the video, but there's cars out there. So methodology, and we're going to briefly hit this right now. Done more than 1,000 YouTube videos over these less than 5 years. It's going to be 5 years this summer that I started YouTube. It's Homer Cocktail. I've had some highs and lows in life. One of my highs is I graduated from a decent school, at least from what U.S. News and World Report says. It's the youngest of the top 40 liberal arts schools, according to U.S. News. It was built in the 60s. And I graduated a couple of years ago, finally. It took a little longer than I wanted to. I've been to jail a couple of times, and I was real reluctant to talk about that, even though this happened more than 10 years ago. It happened in between me being admitted to that school I was talking about, and obviously right now. And I could have started off my whole YouTube experience trying to clarify that or debunk this or whatever. But I also play guitar. I'm sang in choir, and I'm not saying I'm that great, but I have a good time doing it. And I decided, as a method, as far as methodology here, I'm going to try to be known to strangers, out there in the YouTube land or whatever. Primarily as an entertainer, because I'm not doing this to try to bring people down. I'd rather inspire people than to share desperate moments or situations. And a lot of people have had it hard in life with this crazy economy, and there's entire countries going bankrupt. The town where I was born in, San Bernardino, California, is one of a few cities in California that went bankrupt. They had to file for bankruptcy. And hey man, during this Great Recession in 2008, the biggest of the big, man, Bear Stearns and all that shit, man, Wachovia and whoever else, hey man, the entire banks couldn't handle this thing we went through, let alone individuals that relied on these banks and relied on the jobs from some of these great companies. Maybe you worked at Saturn, and maybe Saturn's not around, or Oldsmobile, and there's a lot going on out there. And we're coming on 5 minutes. Actually, I have a minute left, but I'm gonna combine this with another piece that I just did about a quote from Chaucer: "Only the guilty thinks the world's talking to themselves." And once in a while, I might come across like that, but I've got to get some shit off my chest, and I gotta do it in a non-filtered, non-censored way, and I'll move on, and you might see me say something in a moment of time, but it might be something, hey man, I'm past that. So I just want to talk about the methodology of beginning these Homer Cocktail sites, and some of you know that if just put a number after the thing. And my first few are primarily music, and once in a while I'll go into something a little more personal. So just want to talk about method. Now what you're about to see is the thing about guilt, and just a little quotation. All right, catch you later. Party on. Okay, here. Look at that. See that book right there? It just turns up. It was been missing for a while. I finally got around to doing my processing of videos that I filmed last week. Chaucer. We're going to talk about Chaucer. I'm going to step outside. Step outside here. I just felt like doing this one for some reason. I was watching pieces of the video here and there. Part of this quality control. Make sure that the volume's working correctly and film was set right. It actually matters. You know, 1 out of 30, 1 out of 50 videos, it seems like has a glitch, a noticeable glitch. But let's go over here. And this is a dictionary of quotations I've had for well over 10 years. Had it since the 90s. There's this, before I do this, brainyquote.com. There's some good quotes at brainyquote.com. And there's some other sites, but brainyquote's pretty good. But I remember this one from this one. Chaucer right here. The guilty think all talk is of themselves. Canterbury Tales. We had a read Canterbury Tales, by the way. I'm talking a lot about my final semester at Pitzer, which should have been my final semester in the autumn of '98. And that was required reading for the history of laughter class. Plus we had to read a book called Topsy Turvy that the professor wrote. I might have that around the corner here. And it seems to be a double-edged sword, but there's truth to it. There's truth to, you know, that little quotation there. All the world thinks that the talk of, or the guilty think, you know, that all the world's talking about him. Somewhere in this pile is probably the textbook from that semester. Somewhere in here. Turn off the radio, by the way, because of copyright reasons. Usually I'm listening to radio. It's usually not this quiet in here. And so sometimes these things just happen spontaneously, by the way. About that I'm gonna do this piece or that piece. So it might take a little while here. I have to dig it up, and I might have moved it or something. Anyhow, so I'm looking at myself talk, and I might be wrong once in a while about my assessment of what's going on in life. I'm going to shine it over here while I look, so that, you know, because this is just too dark. I might be a little off, but usually doing these videos gets you closer if you are a little off. Well, can't seem to find it right now. I found this one. What is this? I found the Ralph Nader book. Look at that. But I can't find the other one. So I did this documents channel, and I'm gonna be, you know, going into detail on some of this anyway. But I just want to hit that one on the head about the Chaucer, and I have other books behind me right here, but that's not going to be that important. It's not going to be that important. Okay, we're at 5 minutes. I'll make this one a short one. So I'm watching the video though while I'm processing it, and I'm going to try to get everything just off my chest as much as I can. No matter if it sounds crazy, where, you know, there's some people out there. Amanda Knox was on 2020, and, you know, once in a while on TMZ they'll talk about Casey Anthony, and there are some people, hey man, they're really talking about you. That's a real thing. But once in a while you get a person where, oh, everyone thinks I'm crazy, man. Everyone thinks I'm this, or everyone thinks I'm that. And I really try to avoid it. Except for, you know, I've had crazy shit happen over and over and over and over again, man. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just talk about it. I'll just talk about it. So, you know, some of these things I'm going to dispel. Okay, I'm going to dispel that it's going on anymore, if it ever was. About, hey man, people thought this, or, you know, I was really projected as that, whatever. Step outside again. Let's see here. Before I step outside, let's see if it might be in this pile. Looking for a book. Looking for a college book. Look at this. Filmmaking for Dummies. Filmmaking for Dummies. Yeah. I didn't really use it. I got a Sims cheat book. Yeah, a Sims cheat book. Ka-ching, right? Ka-ching. You get extra coins by going to ka-ching on that. But obviously I need to take inventory of the books that I have lying around, and you know, we'll talk about stuff here and there. But let's step outside. So you know, I guess it's a forewarning, or I don't know, disclaimer that I'm going to be, you know, some of the videos I'm going to really postulate. I'm going to postulate that this was going on, or this or that. And I think there's an irony that when you don't need to be paranoid, you're able to talk about paranoia. And it's just a little observation I made. And there's some people that I've seen at places I've worked at that are about to get fired, for example, that should be paranoid. And one of the strange things about it is that I did a piece on paranoia on HC4, Homer Cocktail 4, by the way. One of the strange things about it is part of the paranoia process is that people don't let you talk about it. You know, hey man, is this going on? That's going on? You're paranoid. Stop talking about it, or we'll kill you. Yeah, that's the whole thing I was thinking. You guys are trying to kill me. No, it's because they, chicken and egg, right? But anyhow. Processing the videos. And here's Poopy in the shade. He's in the shade. And once these videos are done, we'll handle, you know, the next phase when it comes. But once these videos are done, I'll be kind of happy. Look at that sun way up there, man. Woo! Alright, catch you later.